Hey guys, it's Coach John Kelly here, and I'm gonna tell you how you can eat whatever you want and still lose fat. When it comes to losing fat, we are always using diets in order to reach these goals. But we all know what happens when you go on a diet. Eventually, you fall off. And once you fall off, you regain that weight. So how do we go through our lives eating sustainably at a low body fat and still maintain our lean body mass? So here you see 3 different popular diets or ways of eating. The keto diet, which is a metabolic process, but you still have to eat a certain way on it. A low fat diet, and intermittent fasting. What you'll notice about all of these, the keto diet, you're eating a little bit of protein, a lot of fat, and no carbs. On a low fat diet, you're eating an equal amount of protein and carbs, but very little fat. And then on an intermittent fasting approach to eating, you're eating less meals because you're only eating in a certain window. You usually skip your first meal and eat a couple meals. What all of these have in common is that you're eating less calories. So if you take out carbs, you're inherently eating less calories. If you take out fat, you're eating less calories. If you take out a meal, you're eating less calories. That's why all of these work. Now, all of these have other functions other than just losing body fat or losing weight, which is what they actually do. They help you lose weight. They don't necessarily help you lose body fat. But what we're gonna focus on today is how you can eat whatever you want and still lose body fat. So back to these diets. When you're eating these diets, you're eating less calories. That's why they work. So how can you eat whatever you want and still maintain muscle mass and lose fat? So that's what I'm gonna tell you today. First of all, you gotta understand how many calories you're burning a day. You can look up on the computer, there's many formulas out there that'll tell you your daily energy expenditure. Once you know that number, you're gonna put yourself in a deficit. I always tell everybody to be conservative when they pick how much activity they do, because we think we do a lot of activity, but usually we do less than we think. So when it asks you how much activity, be a little bit more conservative. It's gonna ask you your body weight, it's gonna ask you how much activity you do, and from there it's gonna have a formula where it basically spits out how many calories you burn a day. For me, I use this Oura ring, and it tells me how many calories I burn a day, which is for me roughly 3,000. Some days are higher, some days are lower, but I usually am right there at 3,000 calories. So that means I need to eat in a deficit in order to lose body fat. So if I were to knock 500 calories off of 3,000, I'd be eating 2,500. Now, what's important is how you're building those calories macronutrient wise in order to maintain muscle and lose body fat. If you're eating in a calorie deficit and you're not eating enough protein, you're gonna lose muscle mass. Muscle mass is much harder to put on than body fat, because muscle mass is very expensive. You need to eat enough protein, you need to work out. In order for you to maintain muscle mass, you gotta make sure you're doing everything right. It's easy for your body to just lose muscle mass quickly because it doesn't necessarily need it unless you're forcing it and giving it the right amount of protein. When you're on a diet, you'll normally lose muscle mass because you're not eating enough protein. Most people don't eat enough protein. If you were to go through your day and look at how many grams of protein you ate a day, you would probably see that you're vastly underestimating the amount of protein that you're eating. In fact, in order to eat enough protein to maintain muscle mass while losing body fat, you have to work at it. It's a job. You gotta plan ahead. You gotta make sure that you have the right foods. You gotta make sure that you're eating enough. But once you have those strategies set in place and you're able to eat enough protein to maintain your muscle mass, you can eat whatever you want within that window that still keeps you in a deficit. Now, as you can see, this is the formula that teaches you how to lose fat, maintain muscle mass, and eat whatever you want. Take the calories you burn per day. For me, it's 3,000. I found that out from this cool little Oura ring that I use. They don't want any sponsorships. They make enough money. I tried. You subtract 500 calories. I like to use 500 calorie deficits because 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. So over a week, you can lose a pound. If you subtract 500 from 3,000, you get 2,500. Quick math. Now, in that 2,500 calories, I need to make sure I'm eating a certain amount of protein. For me, being 195 pounds, I need to eat 200 grams of protein, which is gonna be roughly 800 calories. So if you take 2,500 you subtract 800, you get 1,700 calories. That means as long as I'm eating 800 calories of protein or 200 grams and I'm in a deficit, that means I can eat anything I want in those 1,700 calories. I can eat pizza, I can have a burger, I can have an ice cream. Not all three, because that will take me over 1,700 calories, but that allows me at least once a day to eat whatever I want and still maintain muscle mass. So what you want to do is find the deficit that you need to be in. First, find how many calories you're burning, subtract 500, that's your deficit. If you're 150 pounds, you're going to eat 150 grams of protein. That's going to give you 600 calories. And if you're burning 2,000, you minus 600, 2,000 minus 600 equals 1,400. That's your deficit, okay? That's how many calories you're gonna be eating. And if you're eating 600 of protein, that's gonna leave you 800 calories to eat the rest of the foods that you want. Now, does that mean that you wanna fill those 800 calories up with crappy food? No. All that means is that you can eat what you want within those 800 calories as long as you stay in a deficit and you're meeting your protein goals. This is a super easy way for you to get lean and maintain your muscle mass. The whole idea is not to lose weight, it's to lose fat. If you lose muscle mass, you slow your metabolism, you get fatter. That's why the people that are in the best shape are lean and they have a lot of muscle mass. So you want to work on building muscle mass by eating protein and losing fat by being in a deficit. If you have any questions, I can help you do this. I can help you calculate it. All you got to do is reach out to me on Instagram or YouTube and I'll help you out. I'll see you guys on the next video.